Improved as musicians, obviously. So from when we started, we'd play it all really. Bernard, the guitarist, had been playing maybe for a few months, and Peter, the bass player, just started straight from scratch. I'd never been in a group before. I think in the beginning it was just something we wanted to do, just to get up there and play. But after about 6 months or so, we started looking at the music and what we wanted to say more seriously.
You've been compared to the Banshees, and even more often the Doors. And what do you think of comparisons like that?
I don't agree with them really. I mean, it's pointless making comparisons really, because you tend to get tied down to one particular type of sound, and I think it's a lot easier for like the music papers to do something like that, because they like to get you boxed in. So they can say, well, this group belongs to this category and this group belongs to this category. But I'd like to think that we don't belong to any category, that the music we play sort of cuts across different things. So I think, we never have any intention of saying, oh, we want to sound like this or we want to sound like that. It's just what comes out at the time.
What sort of influences would you admit to then?
Yeah. Things that influenced me, I think, are mostly people. I can remember some sort of very good friends when I was 16 or so, sort of just really growing up type of thing. And their outlook at that time, well, that sort of our outlooks together sort of shaped my outlook for the next couple of years. If I'm listening to music, it tends to be the person's attitude towards the music they're making that influences more than the actual music that's played. I can remember certain odd singles I remember hearing, a few years ago that remind me of a certain point in time when something happened, and I tend to look on things like that a lot more than, say, a certain artist where I'd say, buy all these LPs and this is a person or this is a music I like. So just odd little things or odd LPs that remind me of certain things or sort of made me think, well, that's right. Something like that.
Your lyrics seem to concentrate on industrial or urban decay. Do you think that the band have any sort of antidotes, or are you just report on it?
Personally, I wouldn't say that we deal too much in that. The way I look at it, from the way I write, I think it's more to do with sort of personal relations and the way people can cope with certain things, within that. Tend to be more interested in people and how they look at things in a different way. Sort of different people can cope with certain problems and how they can adapt and such like. I don't like grouping things together more. I prefer to think of everyone as an individual really. I can see different things cropping up in sort of different people's lives or whatever that are totally different from other people. I wouldn't like to sort of make a statement on sort of a vast subject.
What sort of relationship do you have with other Manchester bands?
We tend to be pretty isolated now really. Apart from the factory groups, we have a lot to do with the other groups on factory. So we tend to play a lot of gigs with them. And there's other things like the Durruti column LP, the sandpaper sleeve. We stuck that on. So everyone's there. Everyone meets each other with that. But groups like the Buzzcocks, we knew them when we started. Really, when we sort of see them, we talk to them. It's not very often. So we'd like to, see a lot more of other Manchester groups, I think. Any other groups in general. Really.
Yeah, I mean, what do you think of the sort of state of new wave?
I don't know, I think a lot of it tends to have lost its edge, really. There's quite a few newer groups that I've heard odd records of or have seen, maybe.
Such as?
What do you think? I think it's mostly all factory groups, really. I like the groups on factory, Certain Ratio and Section 25. I tend not to listen, when I'm listening to records, I don't listen to much new wave stuff. I tend to listen to stuff I used to listen to a few years back. But, sort of odd singles. I know someone who works in a record shop where I live, and I'll go in there and he'll play me, I'll hear this single, the singles by a group called the Tykes, so an obscure thing and group called, I think, Bauhaus, a London group. It's one single. There's no one I completely like.
I could never say really I like such and such a group, because there's always something I don't like about them. Funny really, I can pick out odd tracks or odd albums or singles, but it'll end at that. There's no one I completely like that I can say, well, I've got
all this person's record, and I think he's great, or this group's record. It's just odd things.
That I like.
Do you have any plans of gigging outside this country?
I mean, lots of bands seem to be content to play the venues about this country. Do you have any plans outside it?
We've played in Europe already, in Holland and Germany, and we are going to America. We're only going for, I think they wanted us to go for about 3 months or something, but we're only going for about 2 weeks, 3 weeks, and Rough Trade will probably be organising that. I think we're going with Cabaret Volta. Like them. They're a good group. I forgot about that. But we tend to do what we want, really. We play the music we want to play, and we play the places we want to play. I'd hate to be on the usual record company where it's sort of, you get an album out, you do a tour, you do all the Odeons and this, that and the others. You just couldn't do that at all. So I had experience of that, supporting the Buzzcocks. It was really soul destroying, at the end of it. We said we'd never tour, and we'll never do a tour, I don't think, or if we do, it will not be longer than about 2 weeks.
Playing sort of a mixture of large and small venues, or unseated.
Yeah, what is your sort of relationship with Factory Records?
It's very good, sort of friends, everyone knows each other, it's all 50-50. Everything's split.
Doesn't it seem a bit insular sort of thing with Factory sort of set up?
Don't know, I suppose, to someone looking at it from the outside, I suppose it is really. They tend, they're not pressurised into having to sign, like get a normal record company. They're always looking for the next group, the next big thing, to bring the record sales in, for them to promote and everything. But Factory just sign who they want to, put records by whom they want to out, package it how they want to, how they like doing it. It's just run like that. You might get sort of a spurt of 3 singles out, you might not see anything for the next 6 months, I like the relationship.
A couple of tracks on some third Fasticon, was it? Or was it second Fasticon?
It's the second one, yeah.
How did you get involved with Fast, an Edinburgh company?
Yeah, it was when we started playing, we played a few days with the Rosillos. Bob Last was the manager at the time, and he talked then about setting up his own record label, and he wanted us to do a single for him. But due to other Factory coming along and other things, and he did, I think it was a Gang of Four and the Human League first, and got sort of tied in, sort of in a management way, with the Human League. I think he manages, and maybe another one. Yeah. It never came about. When we were doing the album, we had quite a few tracks left over. We recorded 16 in all, and just took 10. And our manager Rob Gretton had talked to him about certain things. We'd always sort of kept in touch. He mentioned his idea for ACOM, and we just offered him, the 2 tracks to put out on that, because we like to get sort of everything we record out one way or another. Like we've done the ACOM, we're doing it Sordid Sentimental thing, which is a French limited edition magazine come record thing. There's 2 tracks on that that'll be coming out, but won't be on an album or a single. Just that we like getting, you know, as much stuff out as we can, really, in some form or another. You know, it's often hard with Factory because obviously they're limited financially. I mean, they can't just put out a record, you know, when they've got other things planned. And if it doesn't, with no room on the LP, then we tend to look for other outlets for them, really. See what we can do.
Where do you see, or where do you feel you want Joy Division to end or go to?
I just want to carry on the way we are, I think. Just, basically, we want to play and enjoy what we like playing. I think when we stop doing that, I think, well, that'll be time to pack it in. That'll be the end.